What would you say are the top 3 factors that we need to consider when talking about retirement planning?
I think the number one is inflation.
Right.
Right. Because inflation levels are getting high. And one thing to actually remember is that, let's say today we are in sort of a middle to high level of inflation range, right? However, if let's say next year inflation drops, that does not mean that goods have become cheaper. So inflation just means that every year, right, goods and services become more expensive. The higher the number, it just means how fast the goods and services are becoming more expensive. It doesn't mean that they're becoming cheaper if it drops. So if inflation is 2%, it just means that goods and services are getting more expensive at a rate of 2% per year. But if it's 6%, right, it just means that it's getting more expensive by 6%. So that there is everything gets more and more expensive, just how fast. Yeah, so that's why inflation is something that we have to definitely take note of and be aware, because if we do not do something with our money now, it will only be eroded by inflation.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's one key factor. Secondly, we're talking about healthcare costs. In Singapore, healthcare costs is very high, right? And I think many of us have our hospital plans in place. Now, hospital policies, if you were to take a look, maybe currently you're paying maybe around a few hundred for it. But as you age into your 60s and 70s and 80s, what will happen is that the healthcare costs will start ballooning for insurances. It will reach around $8,000 to $6,000 a year. Individuals actually prepared, or have they even considered that there's this cost? And many of us, we do not. And what will happen is that you will eat into our retirement portfolio. Yeah, and it is also not wise of us to drop off our hospital plan when we are getting older.
Right.
So that's one more thing. And the last thing is, of course, your retirement lifestyle. If today you think that you can survive with $2,000 a month, that's good. But however, right, $2,000 accounted for inflation, it will become $1,000 plus. So we have to make sure that everything must be accounted for inflation. So that's where we start our retirement planning. Okay. And these are the factors that we have to consider heavily when we're talking about retirement.